Welcome back, everybody, to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 15. I'm Ian Scott.
I'm Zack Huber.
And this is the podcast where we talk about nerd culture stuff from the past week and this week and the upcoming week. And we have a few things to discuss with you all today. We got a John Wick 4 review, since we just saw that last night.
Mm-hmm.
We have Captain America New World Order news.
Yep.
We have Mandalorian episode 5 review.
Finally, a good one.
Yeah, a little spoiler alert.
Maybe
there.
hot take.
But yeah, so and we got a bunch of John Wick 4 spin-off news and whatnot to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So and maybe a new segment that you'll get to hear. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna start off with the John Wick Chapter 4 review.
Yeah. So we just saw it together last night, and I freaking loved it. Yeah. I really loved this movie. I think it was incredible to watch. It had an incredible flow to it. It was dynamic and beautifully shot.
Yes,
like, it was,
I'll give it that.
The gorgeous set pieces, gorgeous cinematography. The action scenes I will say that they're not, some of them didn't feel as maybe iconic to me as others, but then some of them might actually be just as iconic. Like, I would say, like, some of the stuff, and I won't go into spoilers just yet, but I will say some of the stuff, like, in everything in Osaka was pretty incredible.
I also thought the car stuff at the end was really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was, because I feel like you can't have a John Wick movie without, like, a club fighting scene.
Oh yeah.
And they went to fucking Berlin.
The club looks so good.
So good. And just the build up to them going to Berlin, they, like, just from a music perspective, they started playing these like modular synth tones. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, this is perfect because it's Berlin, which is like where you'd play, like, electronic club music, like, the most. Like, that's just what it's like. Berlin's just, like, I once went to like the capital for that. Yeah, like, I went to like a live show, and there was a guy from Germany, and he was like, I'm just so sick of fucking like electronic music. I don't even know this band that I just want to see live music.
Right.
And so when they finally got to the club stuff, at first I was like, how are they gonna be as iconic as, like, stuff from the first movie, or even, I can't remember if there was one in the third movie. I was trying to think about that last night, but definitely in the second movie there was.
I can't remember about the third either.
But this could have been the best club sequence. At least, like, at first you're like, oh, it's good. Yeah. But then it builds to this, like, high with the boss there that you're like,
I guess. Yeah, like for me there, like I guess maybe I wanted a little more, like, goons he could fight, because it was mainly just, like, him versus the boss at that nightclub.
But I feel you, but that the guy there's an art, there's, like, an art to that fight.
No, there is. It's good.
And so the boss that we're talking about is, like, this
like chubby but very muscular, like, Russian or German mob boss. Like, I can't even remember what his accent's from.
Yeah, like, very, like, Penguin-esque.
Yeah.
And I know that they'll never have the Penguin probably fight like him in the Batman movies.
No,
but
not a chance.
Holy shit, he just kicks ass.
Yeah.
I was not expecting him to throw down.
So dexterous. Like, he could move. He could move it however he wanted. Yeah.
And he was so entertaining to just listen to him talk. The Baba Yaga. Yeah. You just start.
He was definitely goofy though.
Oh, but it worked. I was so in for it.
Yeah, I guess for me, like, my general thoughts, I'm not as in love with it as Zack is. I think cinematography wise, like, I agree, and I think, like, mostly action wise, I agree. I guess like what I was wanting from this movie, that, and I told this to Zack already, but like how chapter 3 ends is like, we're both super pissed and we want to take down the high table together, right? And we basically, like, skip to the end of that journey at the very start where he kills the gosh, what is his name? The guy at the head of the table, or
like
whatever.
above the one above
the elder, right?
Well, I guess they just refer to him, but the elder, sure.
Right. And so they skip to the end of that, and he's killed him, and like Lawrence Fishburne really had no screen time in that like journey, and he doesn't really have much more throughout the whole movie. So it's not this like duo that I wanted teaming up.
Sure, yeah.
It's also like, not that I don't like the plot, or I guess I should say I do like the plot, if that was confusing. But like what I wanted again was the destruction of like this like, of the high table, this organization, and we got diverted into like, how does John Wick get out of the situation? Because basically everyone's telling him the high table is this indestructible entity that will just keep getting replaced by other people, and I think the journey we go on is really good. I think, like, I wanted other things from it, but like for the most part, the story's good and the action is good and the cinematography is good. It's just not my favorite in the franchise. It's probably my least favorite in the franchise.
You have a bad opinion. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No. I think I totally agree with everything that you're saying, because I was on the same wavelength of, I thought we were going to do exactly that. But
Right.
Here, I was talking to Ian earlier, and I guess he wanted me to save this for now. He is on a war path, essentially. Right. He wants to get to kill everyone at the high table. Mm-hmm. And so we were seeing that, but everybody started to be like, where does this end? Like, how do you think that this is going to go down? Because by the time you kill the Marquis, who's, Bill Skarsgård in this movie, who's
kind of the new head of the table in a way.
Not head of the table. He's still below the table.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, he's a part of the high table.
I think
he's one of the 12.
I think he's still below it.
There's no way he's below it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
to be honest, it's a little. It's a little. I don't know how.
To me, he had full authority and resources of the table.
He did have, yes,
right,
for sure,
which made him, to me, like the leader of it all. But I don't know.
I definitely wouldn't say like he didn't feel like the leader to me. He felt more like, oh, you want to prove yourself, right, sort of thing. This is how you get into like being even more recognized by the table, or. But so everybody, like Winston's got his angle about getting back at at him, and everybody's kind of saying, as soon as you killed the Marquis, they're gonna get somebody to just replace him, easy as that, right? Like this, where basically Winston's like, you gotta kill him, but get something out of it, and so I think that the way that they set it up, as much as like, I think it would have been dope to see him go after like the table and all that. I like how this all went down. And I was ultimately like, I was down for the story. And I think probably, by the way,
this is a spoiler review. I'm not sure we ever said that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But I think that we might see something like that later on in other spin-off movies, because there's already one that's happening. Right, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be other, like, because there's plenty of characters introduced in this movie alone that like I could totally see
for sure
stuff happening.
There's a huge world they've built here. I guess for me, like, you could, if you want to keep the world around, like you can always like set stuff before a certain date.
Sure.
Yeah. And like, we were getting that journey with John, but like you said, it was like pretty instant at the start of this movie. People were like starting to say, hey, this is not really possible, you know? And so like the journey was diverted. And I guess for me, like the story we were given was pretty good, but like, big spoiler here. He ends up dying at the very end, and he does this in a way where he gets like the freedom for himself, freedom for his best friend, or maybe not best friend, but freedom for his past friend, and he gets to kill the man he wanted to, and Winston gets his hotel back.
Right.
But I feel like he intentionally like dies at the end. Like I think he knows the shot he takes is gonna kill him.
I mean, I think Winston like
realizes that too.
Like he's right. A little teary eyed, and he's like, Winston, will you take me home?
Yeah,
of course. He's like, yeah, he's gonna die.
But I feel like for me, that sacrifice should have been made for the destruction of like this mass organization, and not just for like the freedom of himself and his friend and Winston. Like I feel like it was just a little bit, I guess, anticlimactic in a way for me.
Yeah, I mean,
since this is looked at as like the finale of the John Wick franchise in a way.
Yeah, I think that I definitely feel similarly, yeah, well, you know what I mean. But like, I feel the same. I think that at least like I see what they were going for with having Donnie Yen, who fucking steals the show.
He's fucking great.
So good.
I am such a huge fan of that character.
Such
and like
a good character.
All the action in that movie with him is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he's
like John Wick's like just counterpart to me. Like he's that good.
Yeah. And I mean, I just love his Donnie Yen really or
his
whoever.
Name's Kane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Kane.
Yeah.
His the way that either he or his choreographers had his fighting style really what am I trying to say? The way that his fighting really like
was like integrated into like the blindness that he had. Right?
Yes, that's what like I feel like it was done extremely well.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything from just like he isn't necessarily like the most capable, because like his blindness really is like a thing that hinders his fighting a little bit.
Yeah.
And so like everything that like sometimes he does fuck up, or like he's a little stumbly, or even has like those doorbell alarms, which was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely like the character has clearly adapted to not having eyes. But yeah, like in the movie, there's such an interesting line with that character where like someone's like, oh, well, deal must have not worked out for you since the table took your eyes. And he's like, nah, I gave them.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need my eyes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. It's insane.
Or like he didn't want to see something.
Oh, sure. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, I'd love to get maybe a spinoff of a young Kane. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but
it wouldn't be Donnie Yen, though.
I think it's, like just like, I don't know if I'd like a young John Wick.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I think him. It's like Donnie Yen's character is like his character arc is the same as John's in chapter
similar.
2.
Right.
So he got out, and then he gets pulled back in.
Right.
And basically,
I liked his arc a lot.
So I think John like finding a way to get his friend to maybe live the life that he wasn't able to, and he's also the cause of it, and the whole movie's like basically consequences,
right,
and also that he's, because I think the character that plays the tracker, who keeps going like being known as Nobody,
right,
who's so badass. I love.
Yeah, he's a pretty good character.
He's also seen like John.
He's John from the first movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and
sort of.
Well, it's just like
but
basically
he's like doing stuff for money, and he's not really.
You're right. Sort of.
And I think that the way that when John saves his dog and also doesn't shoot him,
right?
I feel like instills some sort of new outlook or approach in his. I'm assuming in his like that it's like it's not all about
to me
this thing.
I looked at it like like the character, nobody had saved him a few times, even though yes, it was to like prolong his life just to kill him later.
Yeah.
It was like John didn't forget that. He knew he saved his life, and he obviously knows how it feels to lose a dog.
Yeah.
And like he didn't want that guy to experience it, even if he was trying to kill him. And I think maybe he saw like good in that guy like all along, and kind of knew he wouldn't turn on him in the end, you know?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't. I guess like I just see like there's more of like philosophical ideas being presented, especially with like the Marquis, who is a total prick, and I love how Bill played him.
He's a really good character too.
Because his whole thing is like just like trying to because his whole thing is to dismantle the idea of like somebody being able to get out of this, or being able to like I don't know, fight the table or lead their own personal life. Like he's got, you know, like this fucking like rebellion, French, I'm assuming it might have been the French rebellion, like painting like in front of him in triumph. And I'm just like, I feel like there is like, and I feel like I'd like to watch it a few more times to understand or hear other people talk about it. But I do feel like there's more philosophical and emotional things happening. And I'm sure that there's a version of the movie where he goes after the high table and you can still have some sort of emotional payoff.
Sure. Yeah.
But I agree, like it would have been cool, but the way that they did this movie and leading it all up to like a fucking duel, like old Western duel was very really cool. Just
I guess that I should say that too. Like I was also expecting like kind of like a John Wick 3 style, like wall to wall packed with action. And there were like spurts of that. Like there was like, you know, in Osaka we got like a huge amount of like fighting, and then it died down until we got to Berlin, and then we got a good amount of fighting, and then it died down again until we got to like the end with the France scene where everyone was trying to gun him down, like in John Wick 3 again.
You think like the action died down?
I do. I mean, at points, I mean, like the story had to like happen for a while, you know, like there was a lot of story being
like,
shown.
But I'm saying like the action scenes were less and less and less like entertaining.
No, that's not what I'm just saying. Like there were periods where like the action wasn't happening. Right.
Yeah. Which
I mean, looking back, like it's very much like John Wick 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's just, it wasn't what I was expecting.
It's a lot more like 2, I think.
Sure. I agree.
But there's,
even though there's some ridiculousness like in the fighting,
I think it's a good mixture of 2 and 3.
I would agree. Yeah.
But I was the same way, thinking that it was going to be another like continuous adrenaline rush, like 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more building and anticipation, and I feel like all the building made the moments more
I could say that too.
Satisfying and intense. Like it's just a constant build, which is just great.
Yeah, I mean, even the last, like the third act, all the fighting that happened in that like led beautifully up into the duel. Yeah, you know, like so like there was a lot of purposefulness to things, you know.
Yeah, I think the last, like everything leading up to the duel, it was just like straight action for probably...
It was like 30 minutes at least.
No, I think it was more than that.
You think more than half an hour?
Yeah, I think it was like 45 minutes to almost an hour of just straight action leading up to that. Like I really do think that
I mean, I'd love to time it, somebody to time it, yeah.
It could have been 30 minutes, but it felt like more, but in a good way.
Right.
And I even... oh man, the intro where he's like... slowly like but really forcefully like hitting that bloody post.
Bro, in the Dolby Theater it sounded amazing. Just like door slamming in your ears.
So dope. But so I think this movie's really good. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I think it's like pretty amazing for what it is.
I think it's a pretty good John Wick movie.
Even though I will say like there's narrative problems, I guess. Like, for example, this guy, like the one above all, the one above the table, like in the third movie, it was like he'll find you, you know, if he wants to,
right,
get lost in the desert. This movie, he's got like, maybe there's more people, I don't know, but I would have thought that maybe he would have had more security than these like three guys on horseback. But I mean, like, I'm like, fine, whatever. If you want to like talk and this is, you know, this isn't something I knock against the movie. It's just like a funny like thing to think about in the universe. There's so many mass casualties.
I was thinking about that during the movie. I was like, how is that being explained?
Like you would, like I'd wonder what the normal world thinks about what is happening, because like in France to go like in around the arch and up these stairs, like to have all these millions of bodies, not millions, but like tons of bodies just littered the streets, not to mention like the hotel gets completely decimated.
I agree. I mean, there's just a lot of
funny to think about.
There's a lot of shooting. Like, even whispered over to you during the movie, I was like, it was during the scene where they're in the circle and there's so many cars and they're just shooting at each other for like minutes upon minutes,
and none of all the cars keep going.
They just keep going.
I know it's for like an action scene that's really cool. It was
a cool action scene.
It is,
but it just like there obviously should have been cops that showed up there. Like, you are in the heart of Paris, and there are I don't think there's
ever cops really.
There's never been cops. Yeah. They're just like, I'm not dealing with that assassin business. That's not us.
Yeah. So. And I will say
there's cheesiness for sure.
Sure, yeah. But like it doesn't bother me at all. It's just like, you just gotta let that go.
Yeah, it bothers me like 1%.
But the other thing, now I don't know. I'm sure like the high table would not get involved, and maybe that's why. But like with the Marquis wanting to stop John Wick at the end. When they go to Osaka, it's like all his dudes plus the super armored up high table guys.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I was expecting a little bit more like hard to kill guys, like even harder to kill.
Interesting.
Because like you'd really want him to stop this from happening.
Right. I mean, a lot of those guys were pretty hard to kill. I'm not gonna lie. Like, especially like the guys in the armor.
No, that's what I'm saying. So when you get to the end where like he's trying to get away, like it's just these.
Well, here's the thing.
There's like one dude of his, like just I think one dude of his, and like a bunch of people littered around France that are hearing the bounty.
My thought is that, you know, because this duel is high table like sanctioned and it's like it's an official thing, like he can't send the high table after him.
No, I know.
So he has to send like everyone else.
But I just thought like there'd maybe be more of his guys or something that because. But regardless, it was really cool to get the one main like marquee guy to
because they made that guy pretty hateable, even though he had like almost no lines in the whole movie. I like he survived like 2 or 3 fights, and I was like, this guy has to die.
Died at one point.
He died at the end.
No, but I thought he died and I was like, oh shit, he's okay.
He's still alive, yeah. Boy, John should have died a few times. He just straight up jumps out of a building and lands on a van and just gets
hit
up
by multiple cars.
Yeah, help multiple cars.
Goes down the stairs, like 200 stairs. Oh my gosh,
that stair fall should have killed him. Good grief.
At least they showed that his vision was blurred because yeah. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention that I was super hyped about this movie also because one of my favorite artists that I listen to is in it, who's Rina Sawayama, who plays Akira.
She played a cool character.
She was super dope. I was so proud of her. I'm so excited to see, she's in the post-credit scene, so I'm super excited to see her in future stuff. And she has a really great reason to go after Donnie Yen.
Yeah, so we could talk about that now if you want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I also really, really liked her role and yeah. So I mean, I guess I'll ask: has she acted before this, or is this her first?
She's
spot?
She's like a model. I don't know if she's acted. This might be one of her first act, if not the first.
She convinced me that she was an actress, right?
Like she was pretty good acting, and
action wise,
right. I was like kind of blown because like I was trying to keep track of like a little bit of like the body doubles and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I feel like it was her like a good amount of the time,
right?
Like.
But yeah, like with her and her character, like a producer came out like from this movie and said that we would be hearing like the next spin-off movie in about a month or two. And I think it's gonna be like based off the end credit scene, it's gonna be, you know, her revenge story against Kane. And I think it's gonna be an amazing movie. The fact that she's getting her own solo movie, crazy. I think you're gonna be so happy.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see, because I'd be pretty surprised that I mean, it's not unheard of, I guess, but I'd just be pretty surprised like that a studio would be like, you've never led a movie before, maybe you've never even been in a movie before, but we're gonna give you
your own movie.
So we'll see what exactly the story is.
Like she's got to be the protagonist, like based off of that.
It could be Donnie Yen, and she's like the antagonist.
I guess to me, because the movie, like the way that scene played out, where like she witnessed him killing her own father, and he's like, "Come find me." Like it just feels like he's the villain and she's the protagonist in this next setup. You know,
but you can see it both. Like I feel like I could see it either way. Like she's obviously like she's not as villainous, but he's not a villain either, really.
No, but so I mean, he killed her dad. It's a revenge plot.
He did. I know. I know.
Yeah.
But and the guy that played her dad, he was pretty,
he's always great. He was in the Mortal Kombat movie, I think, as Sub-Zero.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Or was he the other one, Scorpion? I can't remember which one.
He was Scorpion.
Yeah. And that was pretty much the only part of the movie I liked. So
yeah, those were the only two good parts of that movie. Unfortunately, like,
and he's been in a lot of cool. Like he's just a really great actor. Like he was even in Endgame. He was the guy that like Hawkeye fights in Japan. If you remember that. Like, and then
he fought like a bunch of guys.
But he was like the mob boss at the end that he fought. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, no, he was cool.
Yeah.
And also I will say, speaking about the ending of the movie, that I feel like John's death, I don't think he wanted to die, but he showed like his Clancy Brown's character, who's kind of this.
That just clicked that was Clancy Brown. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Clancy Brown's character, who's kind of this arbiter of the duel.
High table.
Like he's like, this is gonna like really shake some foundations, and it's gonna be really upsetting, and it's gonna do a lot like if John gets out of this,
right?
And the fact that John does, like, I feel like has big repercussions throughout the whole universe, that like this is something that can be dismantled and you can get out of. And
sure, I could believe that.
It does seem like there's a good amount of people who are, wanting to get out of this thing that they've bought into. Like Koji, like the dad, and Akira, like they did not need, like it would have been much easier for them to just be like, I'm not helping you, John. They were like, no, fuck this shit. Like,
yeah. I guess I'll also say like, based off of like people who could want out, I guess I'm surprised they're going with the ballerina spinoff like in that way, because I think
and he's supposed to be in that.
John Wick's supposed to be in that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because like the continuation of this universe, I think it's going to be like sequelistic. I don't think they're going to go like back in time for most of these spinoffs. But
we'll see.
I think the ballerina, I think that's going to be a sequel, but maybe not if John Wick's going to be in it.
I think maybe
he'll be in flashback scenes.
Yeah, potentially.
But yeah, I guess it's interesting that they're going with like Ana de Armas and a new character. When I feel like we got like a really cool new character, which was the woman who was in charge of that place in Berlin, who also like branded herself.
Yeah, she was cool.
Like I was like, oh, we could have followed her. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think the ballerinas are a cool concept. I guess I'm mainly excited to see like that concept really be like brought to life. But I think I'm more excited to like maybe follow that thread in a John Wick Chapter 5 or a Donnie Yen sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before talking about a Chapter 5, I will say that it was I don't know what to call it, but it was really it was quite surreal, I'll say, to see Lance Reddick die.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah.
Like early on.
I mean, I'm glad he got his send off.
He did, but it felt a little weird that his character died and he died.
And he died
too.
like a few weeks before, right?
Like it was a very strange.
No, it's pretty wild.
Weird moment,
Yeah, definitely doesn't usually happen like that.
But he was good for this short amount of time that he was on screen.
He was great the entire franchise.
Yeah, the whole series he was incredible.
Yeah, I was just super happy to see him again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of like a Chapter 5, like I guess the Lionsgate execs won a Chapter 5, which
here's the thing.
I totally see it, and maybe not see it, but I totally see why they want one
because it makes money. Yeah.
Because it makes money. Like most things. That's why people want to, or most heads of company, and it makes sense. I mean, you're head of a company, you want to make money. It's the most successful it's ever been. But
this was the best opening, right, for the franchise.
Yeah, I think so. So
opening like 75 million.
I mean, yeah, like we've said, like John dies at the end, and besides one moment where like the dog kind of like does a head turn and like like it's like when they're at the grave,
right?
Like I don't know if that was supposed to be like anything,
what's up with that? Right.
But I could say like that's one of the ways that you could do it. Sure. I mean, we never see him be buried,
he could pull a Sherlock.
It's just like the only two people that are there is Winston and like Lawrence Fishburne's character.
Yeah.
So, it would be, unless they they found a way to write it like it.
I guess I wouldn't have minded Kane being there too. I feel like Kane should have.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't know. And here's the thing. Regardless if he's alive, if you wrote it that way, I mean, you'd have to come up with a really good reason why he would get involved in anything again.
Right, because now he has his freedom again. Like, so why would he ever come back? Right.
So
unless it was to destroy the High Table. Like that's got to be it. Like that's got to be the next plot if he comes back.
Like why? Like he's out.
I feel you. So like basically the High Table has to do something so like atrocious to him or somebody he knows that he comes back.
And if it's done well, then hopefully like I love it. But I'm just scared that they'll write something and I'll be like, well, like but to me, this was like a good ending.
We've got 4 good movies and a pretty good ending, and I'm pretty happy with that. Like I don't need more John Wick.
I mean, I could always do with more John Wick. I didn't think that this was like necessarily be the ending, but it feels like the ending. And like, I'm totally cool with all these 4 movies. Yeah. Like I'm excited to see like more characters, spin-off characters, and
expand the universe.
So
yeah. Like the thing there too is that,
don't be greedy.
Yes, exactly.
Just let the story be.
The director says like, this was meant to be the finale, but they're open to coming back. So if they are, let's hope that it's written well. But yeah, I mean, the other spin-offs that we've kind of mentioned and talked about here are like, the Ballerinas one, which is coming out next spring or summer, supposedly. And I guess that'll, expand the world of the, gosh, what was that place he went? I mean, is the orphanage that he went to, right?
Yeah.
But we saw it in the third movie. Belarus, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously we're getting another unknown spinoff, but I think it's the Donnie Yen and the actress you
Rina
mentioned.
Sawayama, yeah.
And then we're also getting the one that's coming out soonest is called The Continental. And
right.
And that's coming out this fall. It's not a movie, but it's 3 90-minute episodes apparently. And it's set during 1970, and it basically follows Winston forming the Continental New York. So
God, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that, even though it's not obviously the Winston actor we know.
Oh, it's not going to be Ian McShane.
I mean, it's 50 years ago.
No, well,
1970.
De-age him.
Do a lot of de-aging, but yeah,
get those wrinkles out. Maybe.
Yeah, I think they might have somebody cast, but I don't know.
Him before the veneers, maybe. Did you notice his veneers? Like those were straight up veneers. Like they were very white and like. But I mean, no, he looks good. I like Ian McShane.
No, I mean, I loved him in Game of Thrones. That one episode he was in.
Oh God, he was so good as that priest.
Yeah,
or whatever the fuck he was. Yeah, I that sounds super exciting. I hope whoever plays Winston is very still Winston. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure maybe somebody can do it, but I don't know. Ian McShane is Ian McShane.
I guess
like he's like Winston is just Ian McShane. You know?
What I'm really looking for, I guess, is like somebody who, and I guess this is more in the writing, so the performance doesn't have to like come off super well, but like I'm looking for a guy who is like will do anything to form this hotel. Like basically that's the vibe I got at the end of 3, that like because he shot John, he's willing to do anything to keep this hotel running. Right. So I'm looking for kind of a scummy-ish kind of guy, but somebody who's obviously capable
and hopefully build some roots and some like stuff that like we don't even know about that can come into play to other things later on.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that sounds super cool.
Yeah, I mean this John Wick universe is panning out pretty well so far.
Yeah.
So
super excited, and I'm super excited for the Sisu.
The
Finnish like
John Wick movie.
Yeah, that looks super dope.
It does. But yeah, I think that's all the John Wick news and review we wanted to go over. We now have a new segment that we're trying out here on episode 15. Basically, it's called Hypotheticals, and one week I'll come with a question, and maybe next week Zach will come with a hypothetical question. But it's just something that we, I guess want to like speculate on and theorize in just a fun topic to talk about.
Yeah.
So the question I came with this week was, if you were allowed to greenlight one more movie in the old DC universe, what would it be?
Yeah, so this one I was super interested in. Like he gave me 2. I won't say what the other one is, but
in case we do it later.
Yeah. But I feel like this one was just very easy for me to think about because it's something that I really wanted back in the day, which was Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And I know the studio probably would have never would be a little scared to maybe touch that again since the Ryan Reynolds thing back.
It was so recent, right?
But one of the best things about, was it Zack Snyder's Justice League or was it the original Justice League where they had that flashback and there was a lantern? I think it was Zack Snyder's.
There's one scene in the original, but yeah, they expand on it more in the Zack Snyder.
Yeah, so it's just one of the things that I really would have liked to have seen. And I like Cyborg, but I know that Cyborg was kind of part of the Justice League in like newer comics and stuff.
Right,
but
it's like since the New 52, right?
I think so. I I really like having the Green Lantern in the mix. And
well, I mean, I don't think Cyborg replaced Green Lantern. I think he replaced Martian Manhunter, if anything.
Yeah, no, but like considering the lineup that they had for the Justice League movies,
right.
Like it would have been nice to have a Green Lantern in that.
No, I totally agree.
In that place,
yeah.
And I just think it would have been really cool.
It would have just been a whole other side to the universe that we got to see.
Like a whole other side to explore. I think maybe hopefully do a Jon Stewart would have been cool. I know maybe people would have wanted a Hal Jordan,
Jon Stewart,
but I really like Jon Stewart, and with the new DCU, like they are gonna have a Jon Stewart, which is cool. But yeah, I just thought like that was something I was really looking forward to and excited for to possibly have, especially in the universe that they had. Like I was really eager to see what a Snyder verse Green Lantern could look like.
Yeah, because his I mean, the way it was portrayed in like Zack Snyder's Justice League, they were very cool looking. Like they had like the symbol popping out of the chest.
Oh yeah, it was really cool.
It was.
And that's before I even saw that. Like I just really wanted a Green Lantern. Like
I mean, we both love Green Lantern. I think,
I mean, out of all the characters that they like, I think Aquaman's really, really great. It's just would that have been one of the movies that I thought first of all people would go out to see and it would make $1 billion? No,
crazy. No, I wouldn't have thought that.
But I would have thought like do Green Lantern again, like give it another shot. But
I think unfortunately they needed to give it like 10 years to like leave audiences' minds.
I mean, it's been
10 years now. It's been 12 years.
Yeah.
So you can do it again. Yeah. And they are.
Has it, wait, was it 2011 or 2009?
It's 2011.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you mentioned you might have had two ideas. Did you want me to say my first one or?
Well, the second one, like just shortly, is like it would have been cool to see the Ben Affleck Batman. Yeah.
Sure.
So
Ben Affleck versus Deathstroke.
I would have just liked to have seen a DCU Ben Affleck Batman movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's some big ones that like I would have liked to have seen, but I kind of wanted to like go a little like off the path. So the first one is not super off the path, but it would have been the Atom movie that Zack Snyder wanted to make.
The Atom movie?
Yeah. So you know how in Zack Snyder's Justice League we got Ryan Choi, who was working with Victor Stone's dad. Yeah. So at the end of the movie, it's hinted that like he's gonna like run the lab and like become the Atom.
Is the Atom?
He's basically like the Ant-Man of this universe.
But he's not like the guy from the Justice Society that we saw in Black Adam, is he? That's Atom Smasher.
That's Atom Smasher. Yeah, that's not the Atom.
Okay, but aren't they kind of the same? No. Okay,
but
well, I'm just gonna look up pictures and stuff while you're talking.
So, I guess I read a little bit up on the Atom, and like one of his like Ryan Choi's origin at one point was he was I guess he believed he was the mentee to Ray Palmer, the second Atom.
Mm-hmm.
And basically through like letters from Ray Palmer, he's like led to the device that makes him become the Atom.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the movie at that point would be like a mystery into trying to find Ray Palmer and like finding out what happened to his mentor. And so like they mention it's kind of a multiverse story. So I know we're kind of getting one with Flash, but I think that would have been super cool to get like a multiverse story. I think like it would have been perfect to have him work with Cyborg in this. Like, yeah. So yeah, to get both of those characters expanded on in the movie would be great. And I think to make it a trio, I'd love to see the Flash in there as well. But yeah. So okay. Was I wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
So Al Pratt actually does appear in the DCEU as Henry Winkler, who is Adam Smasher's uncle. He's like,
so Al Pratt is the first one.
I'm assuming so,
because Ray Palmer's the second and Ryan Choi's the third.
Yeah, so I don't. Ryan.
Interesting.
Who plays? Let me look up real quick the cast.
So,
yeah.
So they kind of rewrote that, I guess.
So Albert Al Rothstein is the version of Adam Smasher,
right?
So, and then like his uncle was Henry Winkler in that movie. That's
neat. So they kind of ignored Zack Snyder's Justice League and I guess kind of went that route with the Atom. But yeah, I think it would have been cool to see Ryan Choi like Virgin and to see him team up with like Cyborg and Flash in a multiverse story. I
all of that sounds super, super cool.
Yeah,
honestly.
And then I don't know if you know the character Kronos, but that's who he would have fought at the end, which is he's basically like a time traveling thief.
Yeah, I was assuming. I figured it was with time traveler or something with time, but that's okay.
The other idea I had was a movie. Basically, it would be called The Outsiders, which I don't know if you know that group in DC.
Not really,
but I picked The Outsiders because Katana is a part of them for a lot of it, and I like, for the most part, I like the Katana we get in the first Suicide Squad movie, and I'd love to see her get fleshed out like more. So I was thinking like, basically in the comics, Batman forms the Outsiders as like a covert ops group.
Okay.
And so I would have loved to see another trio, which would have been Katana, Huntress, and Catwoman. And see them as like this covert like Batman squad. Like I would have been like, okay, yeah, that would have been a cool trio. That would have been a
cool trio. I would like to know if he would have been like no guns. Because maybe, it's like what. Yeah. That's my thing. Okay, so
like him working with Jason Todd and everything.
Batman like gets Huntress and Katana,
right?
A character whose name is literally about the blades that she has. Like,
sure,
it doesn't seem like maybe he's playing a little loose with his rules there.
He can't control everyone he works with.
But then why hire them?
Sure, but why work with Red Hood after everything? Because he kills people.
Here's the thing with Red Hood. He could use rubber bullets.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Just saying.
Yeah. But
you can't really do rubber blades. I guess you could.
Yeah.
But like,
I guess my thought there too is that they wouldn't be set in Gotham. It would be set in what was it called? Markovia, which is like a Eastern European like fictional city that they've made in DC. And that they would be fighting vampires.
Okay.
I was like, yeah. So, pretty badass kind of trio
cool,
story.
But that would also be very easily gone off the rails, for sure.
It could, but it would be a cool action movie.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
But yeah, those are my two ideas.
Yeah, so that was Hypotheticals. Hope you like that.
Yeah. We'll be coming back with these hopefully in future episodes, and
I'll have them next time.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
So we have just about two more pieces of news before we get to our Mandalorian review. One of which is
2 or 3.
Huh?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of which is Liv Tyler is going to be making her reappearance into the MCU after I don't know how many years it's been, like 15.
When the movie comes out, it'll be 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
So Liv Tyler, she plays Betsy Ross in The Incredible Hulk.
Isn't it Betty?
It's Betty.
Okay, sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Who is the daughter of Thunderbolt Ross? She's going to be in Captain America: New World Order. And her dad is the president in that movie.
So it makes sense that she would be in it.
It makes sense that she would be in it. Also, Tim Blake Nelson's back as the leader. Assumingly, he's probably going to be looking more like the leader than ever before.
Yeah.
So this is, I feel like this is very interesting news because it can go one of a few ways. in my head.
Yeah.
Either A, it's, she just makes a quick appearance because she's showing up for her dad as because he's the president for maybe some press event, or she's, part of his staff or something of that nature.
That she could be a part of his staff because she was a doctor in the first movie of the Hulk. A scientist, I think, really. So yeah, I think it makes sense that she could be on like the table of or the staff of the president.
So it could be that. It could be that she's not okay with something that is going on, and considering this seems like there's a lot of Hulk characters coming into play.
Yeah,
a lot that she could play a big part. She could also play a very small part at all, and it's just nice to have her back.
Yeah.
But I just think it's super interesting that we're getting so many Hulk centric characters.
What I'm thinking too. And I guess for me, it's like, would it be a mistake to not have Mark Ruffalo in this movie with all these people coming back, even though he wasn't in the first, but he's Bruce Banner, so I'm curious to see if he's going to show up at some point. But I guess for me, it's like, what is the explanation for leaving these characters out of the MCU for so long?
I'm sure they'll have one.
What has the leader been doing though? Because he was transforming at the end of the Hulk. Like what has been going on with him for technically 14, 15 years now in the MCU?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's a big part of
the movie.
The movie,
right? Yeah, I mean, Betty Ross, she's just a scientist / doctor, so she could be just doing what Natalie Portman did and just kind of lived a normal life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. Well,
I feel like there was some mention of her in previous Marvel MCU material that.
What, Betty Ross?
Well, that Bruce mentioned what happened between them.
Yeah, maybe. I guess it's also weird for me because I guess yeah, sure, relationships can end and die out, but when you focus on one for so much of the movie and then it's just kind of implied that they break up after the movie and Bruce Banner and her have not mentioned each other at all. It's just then to bring her back now is okay, interesting. I'm not sure it all feels natural or needed, but
I feel like it's cool. I feel like they can do it well. Similarly with Natalie Portman. I think they can bridge some gaps.
They might.
But I mean, yeah, it's a very interesting cast. I mean, they also have this character named Sabra that I saw that's a Israeli superhero.
Interesting.
That I saw that there was some critique or controversy about having that character, and Marvel was we're gonna we're gonna do it a different way, and I was okay. I don't know how to feel about it, but it's there's a lot of different characters, and Isaiah Bradley's in this, so it's
right.
Yeah, do you think that Hulk's son's gonna show up in some way?
He's only gonna show up if Bruce Banner shows up,
for sure.
Yeah, and at that point, this is just a Hulk movie. You are ignoring too much of Captain America, and you have brought in every single Hulk character because
But Hulk Captain America, I don't think it's gonna be that.
Here's
but
my
that
thought:
could be cool.
is that with a movie that has both Thunderbolt Ross and Betty Ross, I think one of them is going to turn into a the Red Hulk or Red She-Hulk, and so that's another Hulk character. That's just another one to bring in.
The thought is that it would go that way,
right?
But what is Anthony Mack what is Sam Wilson's Captain America going to do against Red Hulk?
He can't do anything.
So we'll see. I don't want to jump to conclusions.
Yeah, we'll see.
But it definitely seems very Hulk centric, and maybe. And here's the thing: maybe even Tim Blake Nelson's leader
is just a small part.
Is a small part.
Yeah, that would just be it'd just be you're just throwing away these characters again for small cameos. At least,
Well, I don't wanna-
unless you're setting them up for something else in the future.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
it's just interesting.
Yeah. But along with that, not really along with that, but along with some movies that are coming up that we have some amount of news about is Joker 2 set leak photos. Right. I don't even know if you can call them set leak photos.
Because they're pretty like official photos.
And if not, like it's not like anybody's doing anything to like keep it hush hush.
Right. But yeah, basically we got Lady Gaga in like the full makeup and costume as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely liking it. I don't love it, but I like how subtle it is for like the universe that they've built there. Like I think it works.
Yeah, it's not too much.
Right.
It's more than you
thought was going to happen.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have a sense of where the tone is or how things are going, because even though like the Joker's outfit is kind of eccentric and bright,
right? But we saw 3 of them at one point, like in different outfits, like running along the street.
Though I don't
like which one is he?
I don't know if that third one was actually a Joker.
Oh, interesting.
Because one of them is clearly another Joker,
right?
For sure. But then another one's just like kind of dressed in regular clothes, and I don't know if that's
supposed to be him or not.
I don't know. It's
I
kind
have
of
to look at that scene again. Yeah.
I don't know how they're shooting that. Because I saw the video, and the guy that drives Joaquin, I think, hops out of like the driver's seat to go chase him after I don't know
if might be right.
If that's just like, oh, we're just gonna have him there. We're not gonna.
If it is a third Joker, it might be why he's running away from the car, because he realizes the person driving him is him. But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going about that. Maybe it's just a
right.
Maybe like they never even show him, and like that.
Yeah,
I don't. And but
we've also gotten photo. Well, I've seen a video of her. Like she's going up like to the court steps to go like into some trial.
Yeah.
And she kisses like a female protester.
Yeah.
So I saw a video of that. I think there's also like an official photo of like the 2 of them, like Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga together, like where they're like looking at each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it all looks good from here.
Yeah.
But it's just a very far view away from it all,
I'm wondering, I'm guessing that there's maybe going to be a bit of this Sid and Nancy sort of dynamic, which I'm referring to like Sid Vicious and I forget her last name, but like he was the bassist in the Sex Pistols, and they had this very toxic, obsessive love relationship,
right.
And it's very public. And I imagine that she's gonna have this big cult following along with the Joker. And
what do you think would give her the cult following though?
Probably not that like she might do something for sure, but like I think just being her and being with the Joker like would give a lot of that just to begin with. And I don't want to say like it would only be because she's with the Joker, but like
I mean that's what gives her popularity at first.
But she's definitely like I don't know. I mean, maybe she'll do stuff on her own. I definitely see that it's probably gonna be like his, because Folie à Deux is the shared madness of 2. Like it's gonna be like him influencing her, just probably like in like how it's always been.
Right. I mean, I imagine we'll get some of that like unreliable narrator stuff again. So maybe it'll be it'll be like a struggle to see like which one is corrupting the other.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I also like, along with all the photos that we saw, what was interesting to me is there's these protest signs that say like Dent is the clown.
Oh, interesting.
Dent's the real clown. And I'm like, okay, so Harvey Dent's going to be in this movie, which is pretty cool. I don't know if they'll do a Two-Face sort of like I'm gonna throw acid on his face.
Oh yeah.
They could, but it is cool to see that like a
I guess
that a Harvey Dent's in this universe.
I would be surprised if they like keep setting up more and more villains without a Batman in universe. But yeah, I don't know.
I can't imagine that Todd Phillips wants to do a third
one.
or let alone Joaquin does.
I don't think either of them necessarily like after the first one ended.
I don't think they wanted
to do a second one. But I think they like come up with a good idea, I assume, and like are happy and like excited to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. It all looks pretty cool. Pretty good. I like her outfit.
Yeah, I heard there was supposed to be some like big scene they were filming soon where there's supposed to be like 700 some protesters and like there's supposed to be like huge explosions at the courthouse and yeah. So if there's any leaks of that, I guess we'll maybe talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing I know we kind of wanted to briefly go over was Asteroid City trailer.
Oh yeah, right.
And that looks so weird but so incredible. I'm not even really sure what it's totally about, but like
it seems like it's a like an aliens here, you know, like.
But maybe I feel
and
like
then it's just this town.
Like it's what's happening at the town rather than like an alien is here, right? Like,
I think it's like a possible alien shows up, and then like it's how does the town people like
I guess
react to
like I know
like just the idea of one.
I know it's being described as a romance movie, so I think it's mainly about that guy who was with his 4 kids and hadn't told them that their mom had died.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's like the romance is going to be between him and Scarlett Johansson.
Seems like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it goes from that, but like
I think it could also be like a romance in terms of just in terms of loving space.
Oh, sure.
And like just that whole time period in the US where we were all like obsessed with space and NASA.
I have to say I'm in love with like the aesthetic and vibe of the whole movie, like it being set in the 50s and in this like little quirky like alien town is just is amazing. The cast we're getting I think is amazing. I can't remember everyone who's on it, but Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, Steve Carell, Margot Robbie, and a bunch of others, and I think it looks so like fun and quirky and shot so beautifully. I'm super excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. It's definitely the most Wes Anderson in the way that like everybody just talks to like, did I say yes?
Right. I mean, even
I meant
like almost
to say yes.
every shot is just super Wes Anderson too.
Like they just stare at the camera and they're like,
right.
Hey,
or just how everything is lined up in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's little things like that. But like it might be a surprise to you. I think I've only seen his 2 like stop motion movies.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
And I Love Dogs.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. They're both amazing, I think. I think Fantastic Mr. Fox is a little better, but yeah.
I didn't love that movie when I saw it as a kid. Maybe
wow, Jared and I love that.
Maybe I'd like it better now.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's good. Like there's definitely like fun moments. It's just something felt weird to me when I saw it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a weird movie. Yeah. It's not your normal kids movie. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I felt like I had more to say about it. But yeah, it's just super
cool looking.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah, super Wes Anderson. Yeah. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about all the stuff we wanted to go over. Now we just have the Mandalorian episode 5 review.
Yeah.
And boy, that was a nice little change today.
This was a really nice change. Yeah, spoiler review. Easy to say, this is my favorite episode so far. Easily my favorite episode.
Mandalorian centered episode. I'd say that.
Oh, like compared to you like 3 better?
I'm not sure I like it better, but I think it compares.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is easily my favorite of this season. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we pretty much we're back on Navarro. We're dealing with the pirates from the first episode,
which we were so happy about.
We weren't crazy about that.
Yeah.
When we saw that they were back and that the episode was called The Pirate. But, this episode was done very well. There's a lot of action. There was a lot of narrative thrust about other things that we get to learn about that start to propel the show into a direction that I feel like ultimately now we know where things are going,
and kind of care about. Right.
The past 4 have been kind of wishy-washy about what's actually going on. And I think that this episode ties together everything from the past 4 episodes into something that now we have and I will say like all the past 4 episodes make this build and have narrative importance, but and I feel like people might say, well, this is why you shouldn't have complained about the last 4 episodes. But you can still have had those other episodes have those things, but I don't feel like they were executed very well, and I don't think that the stories were as interesting.
I don't think it's worth it to have bad build up lead into something that's maybe good. But yeah, I think eventually we've come around to a good episode, and I think overall the plot flowed super well this episode.
Yeah.
We got to follow around at least my favorite New Republic starship fighter jet guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name or the actor's name.
Yeah. I can't remember either.
We got to see him go to Coruscant and try and help out Navarro in that way.
Which we also get to tie in that Elia Kane is eavesdropping and trying to be I don't think you should go there.
You should help Navarro.
Now, I will say that we both, when what's his name, Tim Meadows, when he was, when our favorite New Republic pilot was going up and saying there was TIE fighters flying overhead and Moff Gideon used to be there and now there's this pirate ship and I feel like it all might be connected.
Right.
This was the first, because most times they like to write the guy who's in charge as being ignorant to the information that's given, but when he was it seems like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, we were both I don't know about that. It is
a bit of a stretch. He's and the New Republic's officer is obviously foreshadowing these are obviously connected in some way,
right? But I mean, maybe they aren't.
They are, because Elia Kane wouldn't have been seems a little they should just do their, maybe they should join.
But I also feel she just wants to see the destruction of Navarro. But maybe,
but if that's the case, then I think that's another reason why that's related, because he wanted to fuck up and destroy the place.
Maybe, yeah. I guess those pirates just really kept that secret under the belt, because they didn't mention Moff Gideon at all, not once.
Now, if they're not related, I mean, it still turned out to be a fun episode and did big things for the characters. Right. But I feel like they're probably related.
I mean, it wouldn't bother me if they're not related.
Pirate dude who flies off is obviously coming back for something.
But it wouldn't bother me if they're not related, because I don't mind that character just being paranoid and being wrong about that situation,
Sure.
And so he learned to care about the people on Navarro, and that's why he also sought out the Mandalorian in his group. Funny that the Mandalorians wouldn't think to take out a tracker of a droid, but I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is true.
But
I wonder if that was even. I guess I can give that a pass, because I'm I wonder if they would have even thought that was something that was remotely going on,
right?
Because he got it from a place in Tatooine.
True. Yeah. Yeah. It just clicked that. Yeah. He was there and yeah, okay. But regardless of that,
and I will say, like, it didn't really feel like he had to go to Coruscant. He could have just relayed a message and asking for support, because this was like you said, a time sensitive thing. But
I can't imagine that everyone has to go in person to file a request.
right. So it probably would have, but we wouldn't get that moment with Elia Kane.
Agreed. And that was a really nice moment. Like, so I like that.
Even though it's a time sensitive thing, he's taking his time flying around all these planets. You know?
Yeah, I mean, think of where Navarro is in comparison to Coruscant. I mean, it's crazy far away.
Or where his planet he started off from was.
Yeah, where did he start off this episode?
I forget the name of that episode, or that planet. But yeah, like, I will say that all the Mandalorians were like, "Oh, now we have to relocate. You know where we are." and I was just like, "Yeah, no, I think he's doing you guys a favor. You guys have picked the most inhospitable planet. Yes, maybe it's a good idea that you guys relocate."
Yeah, absolutely. And it ends up working out because they agree to help Navarro and the High Magistrate Grief. I can't remember this guy's name.
Grief Karga.
Grief Karga. I had it backwards. But yeah, so like them getting there and like executing the plan and all the action where they were flying around in their jetpacks and Mandalorian was flying around in his Naboo starfighter, and it was just all great. Like, it was great action.
Yeah, great great like great starfighter action and like I guess I could see that N1 just like fly around like killing things, like shooting down ships like all day. Like, it just sounds so cool. And
for me, like with the finale of Book of Boba Fett and how the two of them were flying around and like duoing it, that was like, this episode was like as much of a highlight for the action as that was for me.
And everything that the Mandalorians did with like down on the ground, like, wasn't dumb and like made sense, and they used their jetpacks like accordingly. Which,
all the action
like,
made sense to me, which
as
was
opposed
nice.
to like that last episode of Book of Boba Fett where like they would then go up on their jetpacks just to fly back down. But like, because there was even a moment where like I was like, oh, are they gonna like be dumb enough to walk into like an obvious like possible ambush, and then they're like, there might be a possible ambush, and I was like, cool,
hell
okay, we know what we're doing here.
Right.
Fucking the armor is like fucking John Wick, and
everyone had their moments. Paz Vizsla had their moment. So it was a great episode to see just a bunch of Mandalorians kick ass. I will also say that I got the biggest fucking like, oh shit moment when we were at the New Republic like hangout, hangar. You did,
So basically the alien that he's talking to is the alien's called a Lasat, and that character is Zeb from Rebels. And so like, it makes sense that he would
still be around, and
he would be helping like now it's not the rebellion anymore, but like
it's the New Republic.
But that was so fucking cool to see him, and he looks great. The CGI looks great. It's just so same voice actor. Like, it just
I feel like I've seen that character before, but I mean, I definitely didn't recognize him in the show. So.
Yeah, I hope we get to see more of him. If we just get to see him this one time.
Do you think that was just for like Dave Filoni to be like, yeah, this is my move here?
It could be. I mean, if we never see him again, that's fine.
Just a nice little cameo.
I mean, that was just so sick.
Nice.
So I'm just super excited to see that.
Yeah, and then what comes out of the whole fight here in Navarro is that like the Mandalorian takes up Grief Karga on his offer of land, and basically for helping them out, Grief Karga, offers a huge plot of land to the Mandalorians. Obviously, we don't know the scope of it, but the armor, immediately has plans further than this plot of land, and basically takes Bo-Katan aside and is like, yeah, you are the one, obviously, who should be uniting everyone. You've walked both worlds here, And
you saw the mythosaur,
right? When I thought that was just a myth, and yeah, basically gives her permission to take off her helmet, and she walks back with Bo-Katan, and that seems to be the new thread or plot going forward is that Bo-Katan is now going to be the leader of the new Mandalorian forces, and she's going to go out recruiting more Mandalorians to come back and take Mandalore.
Yeah.
So I was super happy to see all that like plot building and character building, and to us to have like a clear direction where we're going the rest of the season.
Yeah. And I also imagine that we're going to get that conflict between Bo-Katan and Mando with the Darksaber, because I imagine that...
He hasn't used it in a bit.
He hasn't used it, yeah. But I imagine that when she goes to find these other Mandalorians, which I think we also want to tie in another part of what happens in this episode to that at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But I think when she probably finds more Mandalorians, or even in this sect of Mandalorians, there'll probably come up the conversation of like, only those, like the only person who can lead us is somebody who wields the Darksaber. So we'll follow him, we'll follow Din, but we won't follow you.
I do think at that point it could turn out to just be like a duo journey, like, or trio, because Grogu would come with. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if Bo-Katan takes like Din with her. Yeah, because he has the Darksaber.
Because we have to have him.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we don't.
I mean, you could split the two of them up, but you can't just follow Bo-Katan.
I mean, we did just follow up, like,
I feel you. You can follow Bo-Katan for one episode. That's it. Like, I'm gonna give her one episode.
Get one episode, Bo. Get one episode.
And to me, that's too much, because you've already taken one episode away from the Mandalorian. You know.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. If it's done well, I probably won't care as much, but
sure.
I don't feel like I've gotten a whole lot of stuff with Din, which is what I would like. But yeah, and along with her finding more Mandalorians, we see at the end that the New Republic pilot that we like from Kim's Convenience is he's found this shuttle, this Lambda shuttle, and it's the one that was carrying Moff Gideon.
Yep.
And he sends a probe in, and he learns that there's remnants of Beskar armor on the interior of the wall.
Yeah.
So it's alluded to that maybe Mandalorians broke him out,
right?
And I imagine that there's then also going to probably be conflict between the New Rangers and also Din and his sect, because they'll be like, "Yo, you're the only Mandalorians we know about,
right? And you're the ones who caught Moff Gideon, right?
So what's going on there?"
Well, maybe here's the thing. I think they won't come to Din accusatory, because they literally captured Moff Gideon. Why would they break him out? But like, right? But I think they're gonna come to him and be like, "Yo, what? Do you know anything about this? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
And I think,
and maybe around that same time of that information that gets relayed to Din, like maybe Bo-Katan's talking to some Mandalorians, and we learn it was them.
It was them.
Like there's like a side by side that keep cutting between the two scenes.
I do think it's going to be a new Mandalorian or group.
Yeah, I think it'll be a new
someone we knew, know. And I mentioned to you that like it could be Paz Vizsla if he was like angry enough to like secretly break him out and kill him himself.
Right. But I think he would tell people.
Yeah, he might.
And I don't know why he would keep it a secret.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just
like he's a really proud guy.
I think that too. Like it's a possible theory, because like in the recap before the episode, they showed that scene specifically, like of him saying like death would have been, a true justice for Moff Gideon.
Okay, but let's say Paz Vizsla kills him. What then of it? What is the...
You might have conflict between the Mandalorians and the New Republic.
Huh. Would you be upset that like Moff Gideon died like off screen?
I guess I would not even.
Maybe we see it, but like he just Paz Vizsla killed him.
I wouldn't be upset, because I do think like the Moff Gideon thread like did come to a nice end, even though I wouldn't mind like picking it back up. I guess I would just be I'd be looking for like a new Imperial Remnant like figurehead that's like basically telling Elia Kane what to do right now.
Well, yes. Well, if I don't know if you've been looking at like theories and stuff.
I have not. No.
Well, there is a character from Rebels, and also has been around for quite a while.
Is it the Admiral?
Yeah.
Oh, Admiral Thrawn. Yeah.
So if it is him, that would be super sick.
That would lead right into Ahsoka.
And I think he's a big part of Ahsoka.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't. I know for like the longest time people wanted Benedict Cumberbatch to play him, but I don't think
It'd be cool.
I think he came out and was like, I have no desire to put on blue makeup that long. And I was like, yeah, all right, that's fair.
Yeah. He's been doing a lot of superhero stuff,
high level stuff.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think he wants to do that either.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I don't blame him at all.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I mean, unless you want to touch on any of that other stuff, I will say it's kind of funny that Mandalorians, speak with a talking stick. Like they literally use the armor's little hammer as a talking stick.
I thought you were really just joking around, but then like he passed the stick back to the armor, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Yeah. No, but it wasn't bad. It's just funny. Yeah.
I mean, I think the talking stick, if I'm not mistaken, like that isn't that something from like tribes literally do that?
Sure, and they're a tribe. So right, okay. Yeah.
It's very helpful though when you're in kindergarten class and they're like, no,
I have the ball.
I'm talking. So
yeah.
But yeah, I really, really definitely my favorite episode so far. The most entertaining.
Most entertaining for sure.
All of it to me at the moment, I didn't see any besides like maybe the guy flying around everywhere to talk about stuff. I don't really have any issues with any of the decisions made or dialogue or whatnot.
I would agree.
So
I mean, I don't
really
love that
it.
pirate surviving at the end, but like whatever. They want to use him later, so
I would have liked to have seen more from the king pirate. But
yeah. I mean, I feel like we got enough. I didn't necessarily like. I don't need any more of these pirates. Is what I'm saying.
No, I don't need any more of them either.
Cool.
But it was cool.
Yeah.
Cool ship.
It was a cool ship. I'll give it that. Yeah.
Solid episode.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is a time where we talk about what interests us personally and what we've been watching throughout the past week. So yeah, I don't know if you've been watching anything.
Not particularly. I mean, I saw Bruce Springsteen concert.
Nice.
So there's that. I watched like I started rewatching like the Matt Smith era of Doctor Who, but like I didn't even finish the first episode.
Oh, dang.
So, I mean, only because I was tired.
Oh, okay. Not because you were disinterested.
No, but no, I haven't really watched too much.
Well, you would be happy to hear that I've finished Sherlock.
You finished all of it?
I finished all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a really good ending. Like I'm very happy with how season 4 ends. I hated that first episode of season 4.
Yeah, what is that one again?
Basically, basically that a special episode where they're back in like Victorian times or whatever. It's like it's all about Moriarty, right? And like to me, the whole season should have been like the mystery of Moriarty, but it's like it's immediately like it like the plot is the Arga plot, and from from the thumbnail that Mary gives John, and so basically like I thought we had like I thought we had done her plot in like season 3. And we were going to move on to season 4. But like, it was all about her, that first episode. And this guy had basically come back and was like, mistakenly thought that she had betrayed them. And like the group of like assassins she was a part of. And, basically the end of the episode, like Sherlock is able to like find where Mary like escaped to and brings her back to London. And then he finds out who like the real traitor of that group was. And he invites like both John and Mary to like, where he's going to accuse the person. And the lady pulls out a gun on Sherlock, and instead of hitting Sherlock, like Mary jumps in front of the bullet and she dies, and John ends up hating Sherlock for it.
Yeah.
And like, gosh, I didn't need any of that first episode. Like, even though what comes from that tension with John and Sherlock is like some good stuff, I just like, I didn't need like John to be like unnecessarily mad at Sherlock. I didn't need for the whole episode's plot to like revolve around Mary. It was just kind of a bummer of a first episode. But like the way the season ends and like the way they reunite is pretty good. Like I love the plot of his sister coming back and like the sister he never knew about.
Yeah, it's just a little
I think it's
weird.
I think it's good. I honestly like I agree, like it's a lot to like of a lot of plot to like dump on the main character at the very end.
And she has this whole like jigsaw like
right, but like,
prison trap thing.
But I fuck with it because like she was in control of that prison. She could do whatever she wanted there.
Yeah.
Like
no, yeah.
I don't know. Like yes, it was definitely like comic book villainy in a way. But like I think Sherlock saving his sister was also a pretty beautiful moment. And the way the show ends is very nice with, John and Sherlock getting back to normal. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a really like beautiful moment in the jigsaw puzzle too, where like, he's forced to like choose between killing John or Moriarty. And, they all have words between each other that's just really sentimental. And I don't know. It's a great stuff that like I think is a
Moriarty's dead.
I'm sorry, I meant Mycroft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get those two names confused.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think overall, like, yes, you could set it up for a season 5, but it's perfect ending here. Like, I don't really need more of it.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, it's not terrible. It's just it's not my favorite season.
Yeah. I mean,
it's probably my least favorite season.
I mean, I would agree. I think it's my least favorite too.
Yeah.
But like, I also think it like the way Moriarty was wrapped up like with the sister, I think was well done as well.
I forget, how does that happen again?
Basically, she was able to like predict, like, with like the knowledge of like assessing the common world or whatever, she was able to predict like 3 terrorist attacks that were going to happen and hadn't happened yet. And so like in exchange for information, he had to like bring her gifts. And so, the like one Christmas present ended up being the violin, but like next year she asked for 5 minutes with Moriarty unsupervised. And so at that point she was able to like fully click into her like psychopath mode and really like want to screw with like Mycroft and Sherlock. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you finished it.
Yeah, I think it was a good ending. Even though season 4 started off not good. Yeah.
Do you know what you're gonna get into next?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, maybe it'll be Andor.
Yeah, you should finish that.
I should finish Andor.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we were also thinking like maybe we'll check out Rings of Power, but I know that was on your like top 5 top 5 worst shows of the year. So
yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah,
it's just disappointing
for sure.
That's all.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just curious to see like the $400 million budget come to life in 8 episodes.
It's very pretty to look at.
Oh, that's what I'm counting on. Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah, that's about all we had to talk about today. But if you want to listen to future podcasts, we release on Fridays and maybe Saturdays if we don't hit the Friday mark. But we are on Spotify podcasts, Spotify, yeah. Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, we are on podcasts.
We are on podcasts. Apple Podcasts and Podbean at Last Week, This Week podcast. And our socials are at Last Week, This Week pod on Instagram and TikTok. We're also on YouTube if you want to check out videos there. We are dropping segments from our main podcast as reviews. So if you want to listen to smaller segments, they're there as well. But yeah, if you wanna support us, if you liked what you heard today, a comment, a like, a rating would always help.
Yeah, and we're still waiting on our first review. So if you want to be the lucky person to make our first review, we will post it on our Instagram. We will frame it. We will put it up on our wall.
The offer still stands.
It has to be a good review, though.
5-star review.
5-star. So if you want to do that, let us know.
But yeah, we greatly appreciate everyone who stuck around to the end to listen to these two dudes talk about what they like to talk about.
Yeah, thank you very much. Until next time.
Until next time.